the new and exciting things that we have prepared, and we're going to talk together about those and have some demos prepared. And we are also welcoming your questions, comments, and we'll make sure to see them in the chat and follow. A little bit of administrative announcement at the beginning. We are having other webinars this month and one upcoming next week that will be presented by our very own Bruce. It will be a seminar related to the advantages, the pros and cons of using Center of Excellency. And it is a webinar that will give you CPE points, so please make sure to subscribe and to join. And then with that, let's go into our agenda for today. As I was mentioning earlier, we want to present you our very exciting new version of our financial suite application. And we're going to go through some details and demonstration and tag them along with our recommended best practice. So a little bit about our journey, how we came to be the trusted partner that you know and hopefully love. We started some time ago, a long time ago, and we went through some amazing cooperation and alliances with amazing clients. A lot of our clients from Fortune 500. We come a long way, always focus on innovation, on clients' journey, on the usefulness of the features and capabilities that we are adding to our application. And with that in mind, we have our next generation, our current available version that it is available right now. And I'm going to pass the mic a bit to Arun to talk about the architecture, the structure of this new amazing version.
Thank you, Katrina. So if you look, Katrina, she is looking on the side. I'm sitting next to her, so that's why she's nodding to me. So starting with our new amazing product, which is Nakisa Lease Administrator. So it's a part of the Nakisa Financial Suite, which is our next generation. So the reason we are calling it Nakisa Financial Suite is because we have other amazing applications. So right now we have the real estate, we have NLA, we have capital budgeting, we have the farm module. So we have different kind of applications. Now in this new platform, all of these applications, they are connected to each other. They are integrated to each other. They can talk to each other. So that's why this is a new platform and it's totally on the cloud. We are using the cloud native technologies, starting with the microservices and other. So you will get all the amazing benefits that you have it on the cloud. There will be continuous discovery and continuous delivery of this features that customers will be requesting us. As you can see on the slide, we are demonstrating NLA, real estate, budgeting, and the farm module. So all of these applications, they are running as an independent applications, but they are highly integrated to each other. It means like the information that users are putting in real estate is passed to NLA, and from NLA it is passed to SAP. So everything is built upon Nakisa Cloud platform that Nakisa has built using all the cloud technologies. So that will give a lot of benefits to the customer in terms of delivery of the products and future enhancements and innovations. So with that, I will pass it on to my colleague to continue this journey and showcase you all the amazing features that we will be having on NLA. So we'll be focusing this webinar only on the NLA, but in the future webinars, we will be talking about other applications that Nakisa will be introducing.
Yeah, and just the last note on that, because integration is core to this version and to the upcoming innovation that we have. The whole idea is to make sure that the information is only entered once. For example, you enter it in real estate, and then you continue to the lease administration or to the capital budgeting. So That's what you were saying, Arun, earlier. It's perfectly integrated. Everything flows from one side to another, and the setting, the configuration is the same. You don't need to build it twice. So that's something also very important, that it is housed into the same structure. So that's very important that the settings are in common. So let's talk now about the features that we have, and we are focusing, of course, into the lease administration, and we will probably talk in the future about real estate, about other modules, but for today, the start is the lease administration. And some of the things that are very important and are already available, as we are saying, and we talked about the fully integrated. That's what I was explaining earlier. But apart from that, we brought a lot of enhancement to our engine. So this will also be the start of the day. We'll talk a lot about this enhancement that we have in the calculation engine. And as you know, our calculation engine has been powerful from the very beginning, and we kept on adding capabilities to it, but we made it even more amazing than it is. And this is something that I'm always in awe about, that how we can support any type of complex scenario and any type of complex modification. And we'll be happy to show you even more, even the direction where we are going. Apart from that, some very important, like core type of functionality, we brought the revert action, and we are very proud of this one. And I know Arun and your team, you worked a lot on it, and I really like it. It's a real reversal, accounting reversal. You get a second chance after you activate it, and you want to revert back after you had an event, and you want to revert back with restating the version, with having a reversal of the transaction entry. So a fully revert action. We are supporting now all sorts of fiscal variants. We were supporting, and we are supporting right now in other versions, but now we really came full circle. We support any type of customized fiscal variant that you can have. Of course, this will have to be set in the backend, and we're going to talk a little bit more in a couple of minutes about that. Then a few other important features. They're all into a multi-type of support, so multi-vendor. Then we have the journal entry simulation. So before posting any entry, you can visualize it. You can see the debits and the credit, and you can see what's in there in order to. So all this coming in hand with the need to validate, the need to check before actually completing the action. And you will see, and we'll walk you through the landing page. Everything is remastered, repurposed a little bit, make it more easy for our users to access it. We had this a lot in mind, and we still do. The easiness of accessing our application. And I know, again, from your team, Arun, the team is working on what's straightforward, what's easy for the user. And we're going to show you a little bit some of the things that we have in mind. But another thing that I wanted to mention is that a lot of these enhancements are an echo of and a continuation of the feedback of the comments that we had from you. And this is very important, and we want to take the time to thank you for always being there, for having this journey with us, and we would love to continue the journey. We welcome your comments and your.
So if I take 2 more minutes, because I'm also very excited about a lot of these features that Katrina mentioned. So I will just speak about a few of them. For example, API gateways. So we understand like a lot of our customers, they wanted to use an NLE database to make their custom reports and integrate with other applications. And that can be feasible by using API gateways. So using our APIs on this new next-gen solutions, you can extract data and build your own custom reports. And you can also integrate with any third-party system using our API gateway. So that gives you a lot of control and flexibility in building your own report set. Second thing, I would like to talk about journal entry simulations.
Let's talk about because we have. Let's talk a bit more about the API.
Okay.
Because this is a very important part that we are exploring, and not just exploring, but developing more and more. And one of the things here, because many of you are integrated with SAP, and this we do amazingly. We have full integration in terms of transaction. We provide support for reconciliation, so you have the A to Z life cycle that is transmitted into SAP. But we started our journey with to integrate with other ERP, and we want to get to the point of not just having the integration with SAP, and we do partner and we have integration with Oracle. So this is something that also a lot of our clients, a lot of the big enterprises are using Oracle, are using other ERPs. So this is very important. The API is the real door.
API is the key, like we within the different applications, we are using internal APIs to communicate with each other. At the same time, we are exposing public APIs, and we have produced like all kind of help that is required to use those APIs. And with those APIs, you will be able to do all the amazing stuff that Katrina mentioned, integrating with other ERP solutions, other third-party systems, and even you can push certain documents inside Nakisa. You can push information and you can extract information. It's two ways here. So that's what the power of API is.
And also very important that this is a journey that we barely start, and the horizon is the limit.
Exactly.
And I know we had questions about, as you mentioned, about bringing in information from other sources, from all sorts of applications. So with the current state of technology, this is getting closer to our reach, right? So
I think if I and Katrina will start talking about it, 1 hour will not be enough. So
we can.
No, wait. It's okay. Let's talk about other journal entry simulations. So what does it mean? Like in the existing application of NLA, you cannot see your credit and debits before posting, right? So you need to post your payments, approval, and depreciation before you see your credit and debits. But that's not the case with the next-gen. You can see what your credit and debits would look like even before posting them. So that's amazing thing on this next-gen. And reward action that Katrina already mentioned, she loves it, and I also love it. It's like we have seen, like in the existing application, if users have conducted any lease events wrongly and they want to reverse it, there was no way, right? So with this new capability, you can bring your leases all the way from the lease end till the activation, right? So you can revert all your journals, transaction posting, your lease events, even your inception journals, everything, and bring your activation group to the defined state and make your changes again and start your lease again. So this gives you a lot of power, and it empowers you to make corrections in the leases that have done wrongly in the system.
While keeping the full track.
Yeah, keeping like audit log and everything is there. So everything
is stored.
Yeah, so, exactly.
That's why I was saying it's a truly accounting reversal, because we have to trace. We hold all the versions, and we even have a track of the action. So.
Yeah, and we have a question from the audience, and they are asking whether we can do reclassification from operating to finance and finance to operating. So I will like to clean that up. Yeah.
So this is coming very, very soon in the upcoming weeks, actually, and it is. I'm super excited. It's something that we wanted to have for a long time. So yes. The reclassification, and just to mention here, it is pertaining to ASC 42, so to US GAAP. The capability of, while you do a lease event, to also change the classification. And we also introduced, we made this feature full and complete. It has everything in it. So the system will suggest the change in classification. If, for example, you are adding a purchase option, or you are exercising a purchase option, or you are extending the life of your contract, and then you get into those thresholds for the bright line test, that the system will say, hey, by the way, this should be a finance lease. But although there are fewer situations where you would need to change vice versa from finance to operating, we have the full capability. So and even those type of like soft characteristic, when you have a specialized asset or there is an ownership transfer, even those can be flagged, and the system will allow that suggestion. So what it will mean is that from that moment on, you have a change, and it's not just a simple change, because it is a change behind the scene. We're using a different mapping, and as you know, you could have different GL accounts that are assigned for operating to finance. So all that will change. So it is a full-fledged reclassification support. So yes, we will have it in a few weeks from now. It's the version that is coming is in R4, 2023 R4. I believe the user guide is already on our website, but the version for general availability is not yet there. So just a little bit patient, but great question, and we're super excited about this one.
So I've already seen that functionality working in our dev environment, so it looks amazing. So it's gonna come out in a couple of months. Yeah.
Great. All right. So we started now. Somebody has to stop us.
Yeah.
We talked about the API, and we reached the third-party integration. So maybe on the third-party integration, because we already have integration with Blackline, for example, but it's not just about applications for reconciliation. It will, the API will open the door to many other type of integration. So we are also looking for feedback from you into other type of integration that that you are interested in. We know already we are exploring different paths, as you mentioned, retrieving the data from other application or integrating with other ERP. These are paths that we are already exploring. And here we have some visual support for what we were talking before, the fact that we do support all type of fiscal variants. And as you know, for center industry, the standard on reporting is somewhat different. So you need to assign for certain entities other type of fiscal variant that follow all sorts of calendars, and we can support anything. And we have some examples here, the 445, and I will show you an example that I already have prepared in the application. But it can be even more than that. And very importantly, you could have in one system, and just a quick recap, the system is like a collection of companies that have certain characteristics in common, but within the system, each company can have its own fiscal variant. Of course, one company will have only one fiscal variant following the reporting requirement. And some other exciting features, and a lot of it is in the multiverse. No, bad joke. But we support multi-vendors. We support multi-payments. We support multiple events per month. So we made everything more flexible, more complex to actually support all the real cases that we encountered and we heard about through the years. So we do hope that it will be something that it comes to the needs, to the request of all of us.
Just looking at something on multiple vendors. So yeah, multiple vendor means like in a lease you can have 5 vendors, and let's say your lease payment was $1,000, and you can say out of this 1,000, 20% goes to vendor 1, 30% goes to vendor 2. You can distribute the same payment among multiple vendors that you are using the application. So So that was never possible in the existing solution. So this is a big leap forward in our next gen, where you can have multiple vendors within the same lease and do the payment distribution to the multiple vendors. And as Katrina mentioned, that previously you were only supposed to have one payments per period or something like that. But now there is no restriction. You can have as many payments in a particular period on any date. So there's no restriction. This new engine that we have built on the new product is so powerful that it let you choose any day, have payments on any day, because we are doing the daily calculations, we are doing daily accruals, and so that let us allow to do events and payments on any day. So
we supported from the very beginning, but we went ahead and made it more complex and more allowed us to introduce this multi-choice in a way, and it does come to real case scenarios, because in a lot of real estate contracts, for example, you would have more than one landlord. This is very common. So then you can make that allocation. Also, you could have other type of suppliers as well, because this is also very important. Not just lessors, you can also have multiple roles associated. So multiple roles and multiple vendors associated to those roles. And this is all possible with this powerful engine that it's really surpassing the boundaries and the type of assumptions that we kind of had to do for the current application. So we kind of broke those boundaries and went beyond them. And we'll be able to show you that. And with that in mind, with multiple vendors, of course, multiple payments is a possibility. And this is the reality. This is the real case scenario, because when you have multiple landlords or multiple suppliers associated, the due date is not the same for each payment. And of course, we are no longer limited to having a particular date. As you remember, right now you start with one payment date, and then everything, all the events are linked to that first day that you entered. So this is where we kind of lifted ourselves, and you can have payments in any day, then events in any day, multiple events in a month in different days. And I know I'm going in circles with this one, but I'm gonna continue. De-escalating rent. So this is also part of the enhancement of the calculation engine. And right now, how you support this is that you introduce several terms. You can of course upload them. You can use the current capabilities, but you cannot set up the logic of the escalating rent. And if, for example, you have a contract, and this again is very common in certain type of commercial lease contract, where you start with a certain payment for the first year, then the second year has an increase either in percentage or in amount, and the third year and fourth years and so on. So what you can do now is that you can set up that logic, and then the system will follow it. So you don't need to come back or to use several terms. You don't need to maintain that. So it's really about defining the logic, and this is something that we're going to see live. And I think we talked a bit about this, but let's see what we missed. And there are some other things that we wanted to mention. So everything about the multiples. So I think the first row we really covered. But we are also supporting index currency, and I'm going to stop a bit just to explain this. Sometimes in certain countries and for certain contracts, the way the payment is determined is linked to a unit of account in order for the landlord to be protected against inflation or against some adverse changes. So this type of unit of account, that it is common in a lot of countries. It's more prevalent in countries that have hyperinflation. And we support this type of situation where you can enter the terms and conditions into that index currency, the unit of account, but then you will have all the transaction, all the calculation in the company, the local functional currency. And there are a lot of complex, I would say, rules related to such a setup, because with every event, you will need to also have an indexation, an update of the payment. So that will change. Also, because of the hyperinflation, the indexation happens very often, something like once a month. So everything is supported to present that, and we do support the divergent treatment that IFRS and US GAAP have on indexation. So this is something that will be reflected as soon as you have this. I wanted to speak about this, and probably it's not relevant for the big majority, but it's very important in terms of the things that we can do, and it's really related to the indexation, to the fact that we enhance the indexation capabilities in such a way to really support negative treatment, and especially on US GAAP, because the standard has a different requirement versus IFRS, where depending on the type of events and following other events, you can choose to either expense or capitalize the indexation. We do support every type of accounting treatment. It's really your choice. You can set it by default. You can choose it with any indexation. So this is also something that we can do fully, completely. We can even right now, but we brought it to a higher level. And speaking of certain things that we do support, but we really rounded them up, the impairment events. And we are supporting all sorts of impairment events, but now we added to the portfolio of the impairment events the full impairment. And the reality that came to us through the pandemic, or not only a regular impairment or reduction of the asset value was necessary, or the accelerated depreciation, but also the full impairment. So full impairment is now possible, and not only that, but you can also bring your contracts from other applications, from I don't know, maybe even Excel that had impairment on US GAAP, and we have the full capability to support that. As you know, once you apply an impairment event on an operating lease, the requirement is for the depreciation to be recognized as a final lease. However, the classification should remain operating. So this is wholly and fully possible, and it will be reflected in all the transactions and the schedule. And in terms of the bigger picture, the subleasing is possible through the integration with the lessor module. And here we're talking about those situations where you are both a lessee and lessor. It's where you are an intermediate lessor. You have a lease contract, but you are also leasing to a sub lessee. So this is all possible by making use of our different modules, so the lessor and the lessee. The invoice reconciliation, and we're going a step forward here because we are talking about integration with accounts payable module. So maybe you want to add a bit more.
Yeah, so thank you, Katrina. So invoice reconciliation is a part of our new journey on the AP module. So we are building a new account payable module. So in that module, you can have your invoices. Either it can be, you can have those invoices created in AP module, or you can sync them from other systems, or you can use APIs to push invoice from other systems as well. So once you have created those invoices, you can match these invoices with your scheduled payments coming from NLA. So NLA has your payments, invoice reconciliation has your invoices. You can match invoices with your payments, and then based upon the matching, you can decide to make a disbursement. And disbursement, whatever, you can have one disbursement, you can have multiple disbursement, and those disbursement will be then posted to ERP. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in managing your invoices. Scheduled payments is already managed in NLA, and it gives you a lot of control over the disbursement, like as and when you want to post. So this gives you much more power on the invoice reconciliation. So that's it. Yeah. So because of the shortage of the time, we had to limit our discussion. Otherwise, I could go on all of these. So I'm holding myself back a lot to not to talk about all these features, but continue.
But it's all very exciting.
Yeah, I know. So I will talk about the index currency also, like like in a country like Chile, where you have one notional currency like UF and your transactions in Chilean peso. So because one of our customer was in Chile and we built this functionality for them. So you enter your leases in notional currency, which is UF, but your financial schedules and everything is generated in another currency, which is company currency, Chilean peso. And you do all your postings and other stuff only in company currency, never in the contract currency. And it allows you to do the monthly indexation, because monthly you need to reassess your asset and liability based upon the new index value or the new exchange rate between the UF and Chilean peso. So this gives a lot of power to the customers who are operating in country where it's a high inflation and you have to use a different notional currency. So again, I don't want to talk because I can talk non-stop on all of these features here. So please go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
One note here that we encountered so many specific situations, but this we can support so many more cases right now, and this all speaks to the powerful engine that we're building. And we want to know your specific cases. We want to know how we can come and support your specific cases, even if they're niche like this. But once we work on such a feature, it opens up the door for more and more feature. And as we were talking earlier about the reclassification, with that it's possible to also add coverage value, to also add things. So one thing leads to another. So always this type of innovation, we keep them close to our heart and we work hard on that. Really quickly about the indexation, so we spoke about the indexation, the changes, but what we also did, we split the lease and non-lease. So the non-lease elements are no longer linked to the lease. So then now it's possible to have separate indexation on non-lease. We also support the land leases, the full support. So if you have purchase options on such type of contract, that once the purchase option is exercised, you will see how there is no depreciation, as the land doesn't require depreciation. We do have the capabilities to support different currencies for lease amounts, and this is very common for commercial contracts, real estate contracts, where you have the insurance in, I don't know, Canadian dollars, but the maintenance is maybe in US dollars, or you have some other services that are recognized in a different currency. So all that is possible. And also, not just for the compliance, the accounting part, but also for the operational support, we do have payment accrual spreading. So for different type of payment frequencies, but where you want to recognize the payment in a different frequency, this is possible. So I think we can now pass to actually show the application, and right at the end we'll come back to speak about the upcoming innovation. But let's make sure we have the time to show a little bit the amazing application that we have. And I'm switching to the application. This is the landing page of what we call our next generation. Keep in mind, it is already available. What you see right now is the landing page. So maybe visually not a lot have changed, but let me walk you really quickly again from the 3 little lines, the main menu with all the type of functionalities that They are available to you. The create master agreement, a little bit like in your current version, is available from different places. The import export information, the landing page, coming back to what we were seeing, and you can see the architectural structure that you are used to, the master agreement, which is the structure, the umbrella that is housing the contracts. Then each contract can have multiple lease agreements. Then you have in the list components the activation group and the units. There are actually, like, you can call them assets. The reporting module with the disclosure report, activity analysis. We are adding, with every version, we are writing more and more reports. The batch management for all the mass functionalities, and we want to introduce you a little bit to a notion of profiles, but we're going to talk. I really want to show you the contract creation and talk a bit about terms and conditions. So let's start into that. So I'm going to start from the master lease agreement to create really quickly one, so we can get to creating a contract. So keep in mind the way you build your structure, and because we also wanted to link our presentation to best practices, to our recommended approach. The way you build this structure that we have available in Nakisa needs to be done in accordance with your own needs, depending on which type of contract do you have. Do you want to maybe use the master agreement? And the master agreement is really, as I said, like a framework, and you can use it for group purposes, to have all the contracts from a certain vendor or all the contracts from a country. So keep in mind, this is something that needs to be catered to your own needs. The lease area that it's typically linked to your sales or maybe internal structures. So I need to put a name in here. All the mandatory fields are highlighted in blue, and they have an asterisk. So once I do that, I can open. I have my master agreement that's in define, and everything is right at my fingertips here. I don't need to move. I don't need to do next. I have all the sections in front of me. And again, all the mandatory fields are highlighted in blue. If the mandatory fields are filled in, I will see the green check here and I can move on. And I have the partners, but here we're not defining the lessor. It's really the partner associated to the MLAs for grouping purposes. I'm going to move quickly through this. I can send to approval and approve my role for this instance. It is power user. I have the access to both approve and send to approval, but we do support all sorts of roles in connection with your segregation of duties, with the way that you define your accesses in other applications, for example. So you know that already. This is in link with your ERP, and we continue to do that. I have my master lease agreement that is active, so now I can go ahead and create my contract. And I was talking earlier about how we improved a lot the easiness of accessing the information. So I can either create my contract from here or from the little dots that I have on my right. So it really depends where you end up with your pointer, with your mouse, even if you're with your hand. So let's pick one of them. We have mandatory fields in here, the principal position that can be defined as lessee and lessor. This is a simple setup that you can do to introduce your lessor. The lease business unit is in line with your structure, with your architecture, and I have to insist here, the way you create your hierarchical structure will help you with all the processes. And we do work a lot on automation and math, but this has to go hand in hand with the structure, because if you have your structure in place that it really fits your needs, then you can go ahead and use effectively our application. So I need to put a name to the contract here, and we are right in the contract will also be in defined status. And we start with the lease determination, the questionnaire that it's really like a base for the decision to come and create a lease contract. So we do support other type of, as you know already, you can enter short-term, low value, and even non-lease contracts. You can enter them in Nakisa. But of course, the main focus is to support all the lease contracts. And
yeah, just to mention one thing, I know like few of the customers, they do not want to fill lease determination. So in this version, we have allowed you to bypass this thing by using some configuration. You can predefine all the answers, and that will be automatically used when you're creating the leases. So you do not have to go through this step of answering all these questions for every lease. So that will be an optional.
yeah. So similar to what you have right now, if this is something that you don't use, it can be configured out.
Yeah.
However, the list type, depending on the system suggestion, can be changed from the definition. In the definition, and one of the things, and as we are again talking about our recommended approach, we have a lot of available fields, and through time and through versions, we added more and more fields, and we know some of you are using all of them and even need more, and we are pleased to know that you are using Nakisa for other type of reporting, not just accounting, but also like environmental footprint. And we continue to have those fields. And again, we want to know what are the fields that you're using. Do you need others? And a quick reminder that we have fields that are based on configuration, the ones that are dropped down. So you can simply define this label, these characteristics, and then have them retrieved in the application. We have base fields and we have pretext fields. And among the pretext fields, we have here and there these bigger boxes where we can fit more comments. And we've seen this a lot, that our users need to leave more information to put more details there. The index currency that we were talking about earlier. So if ever it's something that that you need to do, of course, it is a bit of configuration in the back end, but once you are using the index currency, you need to define what would be the asset value, and you can choose from the company currency, the company functional, or you can define something else. We get into the hierarchy, and this is where it's probably one of my songs. If you use the hierarchy, then you can have efficient math processes. So everything that you perform in math can be based on this, and it will be linked to. We want to talk to you about the profile. So please make use of this, integrate them in your configuration, and see how you can use them. And the groups that are used by some of your some of you, we hope that you can use them more. So now we get into the partners, and this is where I wanted to show you that you can define more than one role. You can include multiple vendors. So this is really easy. With a click, you can define multiple roles as well. So you can do this from here, and if you are choosing to use the functionality of generate vendor invoices, that's where you are doing that allocation that you were talking about. Yes, yeah. Out of time. Oh, let's get quickly the contract length, compounding frequency to calculate the effective rate. My mouse doesn't working.
Maybe you want to show the already created contract.
Yes. Can do that. We are
yeah, just to be respectful of the time, and you have so much things to cover, so we will open up the lease that's already created.
Okay. Here, a lease that it's already already activated. I noted down some of the contracts that I wanted to show. The ones escalated rent. Move really quickly to the list components, and in the list components, we can take a look at the terms that we spoke a lot about earlier. And we have in here, and you can notice the vendor allocation as well, but let's talk about the escalating rent. So we introduced the notion of escalating rent. So first of all, you can decide whether you want to have the escalation or not. We also support negative escalation. This economy doesn't happen, but we are ready for everything. But of course, we introduced the validation to stop at zero because you don't want to have negative payment. In line with supporting carryover functionalities, you can even bring forward the previous logic that you had in a contract that you had in a different ERP or application. So that's the escalation fast forward. Then the 4 fields in here are really for the current logic, of this particular term. And first we need to say, well, what is the change that I want to make? And this is just a numerical field. And in this case, I'm saying, well, I want to have an increase of 10. And in the next field, you choose between percentage or fixed amount. The frequent offset is in relation to the start of your term. So after how many months, how many periods do I see the change in the payment, and then how often will I see that? So in order to actually show you how that looks, so the type of terms that we introduced, we're going to the schedules here, and in the schedules, we can see the column for the escalating rent. So remember how I said the offset is 4. So starting with my 4th month, I can see the increase. It was 3. I'm sorry, the offset was 3. So starting with my 4 month is I see the change, and then the frequency is every 4 months. So we can see that, and it continues until the end of the term. So I can change to the next years to do that. So while we are in the schedule, because a lot of the changes that we brought to the engine can be seen here, and this is the activation rule that is still defined. We can see the preview. So this is the initial entry, the capitalization for the asset and liability. And as you can see here, the status is open. I haven't decided what's my classification for US GAAP, so that's the reason the system is giving me both options for US GAAP and also for IFRS. I can see for liability, I can see for assets. So really, I have everything. I can really check. I can go back to my notes and make sure that this is what I intended. Of course, you won't see the real GL accounts. Those will come in with the mapping once you post, but you can see what we call the placeholders. You really can see the debits and credits. And you can also see in a similar fashion the payments or the accrual. In this case, we are talking about the accrual entry, so you can follow those type of entries, and from the very beginning, without having to activate a contract, you can even see how the contract is going to end, what is the entry that the system is proposing for the end of the contract, and this is specifically useful if you have a purchase option and you want to see the transfer of ownership. And in this case, we see the retirement of the asset. And as you know, if ever there are some roundings for the liability, they will appear here on the liability side. Really, the purpose as you are ending the contract is to put every liability balance to 0. Also, I wanted to show you an example where we have a different type of fiscal calendar. So let me walk you through that. found it. So from, maybe I should start from the contract first to show you that in the accounting, you will need to define the fiscal variance. So this will be something that will be based on the configuration in the back end. But once you do that, and in this example, we have, and I'm gonna show you first the terms and condition. It's really a simple term that we are paying every month. So you can see here we have 1,500 with a monthly payment. Nothing special about this one, but as we go into the schedule, we are going to see that the setup of the period is consistent with the 445 calendar for 2023, and then as we move on to 2024. So you can follow here the sequence and see this example about the fiscal calendar. And I had another example about multi-payments that I wanted to show to you, but in order to retrieve it, I'm gonna go here and look for my entry so I can filter. So I take the opportunity to show you the filters as well, so I can look for my own AGs. And we have in here, as we can see in the terms and conditions, we have multiple terms, two lease terms and one non-lease, and the payment days, they're all different. We have the first of the month, the 15th, and the 20th. So all this is possible right now, and as I'm moving to the schedules, from the all-column schedule, there's nothing special that you can notice, but we do have the payment schedule available. So this is where you can see the specific payments. Each payment is here, so you will have a specific entry, of course, because they're in different dates. So you can see the information and the details as well. You can see what type of payment is each of them. And maybe I'm looking at the watch.
So let's jump into the upcoming roadmap items.
Yes. The upcoming, but should we talk about profiles just a little bit? 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay.
So for all the mass functionality and the reports, we introduced something that is called, and I can show it to you for the operational posting. And this is very important because in the end, each of you has more and more data, more and more contracts, more and more objects. And our goal is to support that, to give your users the ability to do everything easier, seamless, and so on. So we introduced a profile that can be defined, of course, based on your hierarchy and on your configuration. And with that, you can select you can make a selection and you can create multiple profiles and use them at the same time. So in this case, I need to select my lease area because I'm trying to get to a lower granularity. And in a lot of situations, what you will do when you post your operational transaction, you will post by company. So you will create this profile by company. And the whole purpose is for you to have this selection ready, and when you run the operational transactions on a monthly basis, you can select this profile with the filter in the selection already made and focus on the engine that you need to do for the month. And keep in mind, you can use multiple profiles at the same time. So this is all in the direction of automating, of having less manual work to do. And with that, I'm coming back to our upcoming innovation, and let me get back to to the deck that we have here and switch it to.
I'm sorry, Catalina. I believe there is a question there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat.
Right. So we can open the talk about our upcoming innovation. And on top is the reclassification. We talked about it, and really close connected to it is the salvage value. The salvage value is really associated to an own asset. So this will only come into place when you have a purchase option. And these two functionalities really go together. And we are also adding another layer to the impairment, and we're going to explore the sales and leaseback, and maybe here, because we do support certain scenarios for sales and leaseback, where the price of selling of the underlying asset is equal or lower than the fair market value, but what wasn't supported is the situation where the sales price is higher than the fair market value. That will require an additional schedule, a percentage allocation. So this is only possible with this new powerful engine. So we're exploring that part. The evergreen leases that we wanted to introduce for such a long time. In terms of other type of innovation, really for the reporting side, we will continue to have those details, and we'll have aggregate consolidated transaction report transaction. But in terms of operational efficiency, another one that I'm super excited about is the mass intercompany transfer. This is something that there is a lot of work behind it, and we do hope that the final project will cover the majority of cases really quickly. We are at the time.
Maybe let's take 1-2 minutes more. Yeah, I can see there are some questions on the chat. We will try to answer you offline. And right now with this webinar, we have just only scratched the surface of analytics, right? So if you want to know more about analytics, please let us know, and we can have demo one-on-one with you guys. So just to wrap up the session, let's continue this one.
So this is on a longer term time frame. The type of innovation that are coming and will have, and again, something that was a lot requested, the translation adjustment report, asset retirement obligation, again, something that will require other schedules, the catch-up entry. This is also something very important and complex. And in the governance innovation, the in-app support, maybe you want to spend a couple of seconds on this?
Yeah, so we are going to work on in-app support. Like right now, you have the user guides and other materials to help you within the application, but in future, we are going to provide you more help that will give you more contextual information on the features that you want to use in the application, maybe some kind of recordings and videos that will help you to understand the application better and use it to its full potential. Yeah.
And last, but of course not least, the what if scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. So there are all of these amazing features. Again, we are not only limited to this innovation. There are a lot of innovations happening, but these are the important innovation which I think matters to you guys. So in the operational efficiencies, we are working on coming up what if scenario simulation. For example, you can simulate certain lease events without actually conducting those lease events in the leases. So that will allow you to assess what will be the impact of future lease events that you are supposed to do on your leases in a mass way. And you can run your reports on the impact as well. So a lot of, like, since we can now simulate, we can show you the credit and debits before even posting. So you can have a reports on the credit and debits. You can see the impact on your GL accounts. And we are also going to have account receivable for our lessor module. our AP model for the lessee. So we are doing a lot of innovations and we are very excited. And as I said, like because of the scarcity of the time, we couldn't show you everything, but please book meeting with us. We're very happy to show you the demo of the solutions and take all your feedback, any questions you may have, and we will be happy to answer all of your questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so on last note, reach out to your accounts managers and reach out through us through our portals. We'll be happy to discuss with you and to get your feedback and your comments. So we're wrapping it here. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you everyone for your time, and I hope like you enjoyed what you watched, and I'm excited to know more about this, our new upcoming product. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.